Hello, welcome to Gamesoverplastic, an agnostic gamers podcast. I'm your host for this week, Hodge, joined by my lovely co-host Sean Mason. How you doing?
For those who come after.
Yes, today we are doing. I've been wanting to do this episode basically since. Well, actually, I only rolled credits like 2 days ago, but because I was just doing everything on the world. But we're doing Clair Obscur Expedition 33, a game I was excited for, but it blew my expectations out of the water. Uh, but so yeah, let's just start there. Overall impressions, Sean. What did you think? I know you were the one who was a little iffy on this one, not trusting $50 game, first debut studio, and all that. So, what was your overall impressions?
I loved it. I thought it was awesome. It's definitely my game of the year right now. As of right now, we'll
Yeah,
see moving forward. But yeah, the game blew me away. I cannot believe that this small team of 33 built pretty much this amazing, homage to so many great JRPGs. With the insane voice cast that they got. The story is so good. Performances are excellent. Music's insane. I am really blown away by this game, and it's not. You're definitely higher on it than I am. It's definitely my game of the year so far, and it's in my top 30. It has entered the chat of the top 30 games of all time for me. It was awesome, and I see a lot of the inspiration that these devs, um, took from, and it's pretty apparent that a lot of these devs, the people that worked on this game are all in like their 30s or late 20s, and they grew up playing a lot of the same, JRPGs that I played when I was younger, and you can totally see that, and I really love it.
yeah, yeah. That's awesome. Like you're saying, I'm probably higher on it than you, but it's the same thing as like I was thinking about this as you're saying that. It's like me with Hades. It's like, oh man, it's one of my favorite games of all time. Like I'm pretty sure I did have it in my top 10. I'll have to go back and look at the list because we're gonna do something fun about that later. But um I was like at the end, then it's one of those where it's like, oh, it's one of my favorites of all time. And then people are like, yeah, but there's better versions of this out there. You just like that one. And it's like, so it's kind of the same with this, where it's like, as you know, I'm not the biggest turn-based guy and all that. I don't play those games very often. So to me, it's like, oh man, this is one of my favorite games of all time. And you and everyone are like, there's way better turn-based games out there than this one. But of course, a lot of it is the fact that I love this world and this the
Yeah.
characters, the story, and all that. So the gameplay isn't what sells this game for me. I just think it's good for what it is because yeah, I'm not the biggest turn-based guy. So like I got the parry and dodge system down, fairly quickly in it, and just enjoying. The only thing, actually, we'll get into like complaints or whatever later, whatever. But yeah, overall, I loved it. All the characters were awesome. The A lot of twists and turns through this. I actually sold my cousin on playing this game, who he is a very casual gamer. Like he plays Helldivers, Call of Duty, and like he played Starfield, and like that's really all. He doesn't play many games at all. He's not a someone like us who is going to deep dive into these super nerdy games like we do. So but I was talking to him because he saw that I was playing it. And he's like, "Oh, what is that?" He's like, "I'm probably never gonna play that. I heard it's like turn based or whatever." And I go, "Dude, honestly, the plot reminds me of Attack on Titan." And he goes, "You sold it to me. I'm gonna watch it, or I'm gonna play it," because he loves Attack on Titan. And that's the vibe I got from this game, of like these people living in this world and they don't know the dangers of the outside world. And there's a crew that's put together to go fight them, and the majority of them die, which we're gonna, obviously this is a spoiler cast. We're going to spoil it from the beginning. We're not doing a spoiler free section. This is just a free conversation. But yeah, it just had so many amazing, like you said, homages to other things, but the story was just incredible. Every act, they completely turned the game on its head basically. And
Mm.
I loved this story. That's the biggest part of it. The gameplay is not the reason why I would call this my game of the year, even though the gameplay is a lot of fun. But it's the story, the world, the impressiveness of it. Like you said, being 33 people that made this game. That's what all sells it to me, and that's why I'm not sure if this is going to enter the top 10. I got to really think about it, but this is definitely top probably 15 for me of games of all time. I love this game. It's one of the few games where I'm not in the room that has them, but I bought the posters of Gustav. Is it Sile? CL? Sile, I think, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and Lune. I have their posters out in my living room because that was my OG party until Gustav met his maker, and so that, and then after that it was Monaco, who was mine. But so actually, let's start there. Who was your main three? Who did you try? Who did you play with the majority
So
of?
my main three for Act One was Gustav, Male, and Lune. I really did not like um, Cecile,
Sile?
or however you say her name.
I think it's Sile, but I could be wrong.
Sael. I always get it wrong. Even no matter how many times they say it in the game.
I was gonna
Um,
say, well, you also said Mael wrong.
oh, what did I say?
You said like Male or something.
Oh, did I say Male? Oh, I'm gonna say Mael.
Something
Sorry.
like that. But yeah,
Oh,
Mael.
sorry.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I really liked all three of their combat. And then once you get to Act 2 and Verso comes in, basically replaces Gustav because
Yeah.
Gustav dies, obviously, which I did not see coming at all when I was playing.
Oh
Like that
no,
was
that.
it. I think
Oh
that part really just goes to show you that like nobody was safe. It kind of reminded
yeah.
me of Game of Thrones where
Hmm.
like it felt like, oh my gosh, like no character is sacred. Anyone can die. And it's like anyone can just like it's hard. Like, do I want to get attached to these characters? They could be gone in a
Yeah.
second. And it kind of came out of nowhere. Like it's like a nice like you defeat the lamp.
The
I
Lamp
think it's like
Master.
the lamp master, and you're like, all right, oh, it's time to go. We can finally get across the sea. Everything's gonna be great. Oh, let's throw one last rock because if you're at the campsites, if you do a lot of the optional stuff, you see that Gustav's kind of not obsessed with rocks, but he really likes throwing rocks, and he loves. I mean, they even make the comparison to him to SKA, and they're like, "Oh,
Hmm.
I've never met someone who likes rocks as much as you do." He's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
I know." And then like they're throwing rocks. You want to throw one last rock? He's like, "You know what? Fine, we'll throw one last rock." And they're trying to find the perfect rock, and then you just see in the background,
Renoir approaching.
yeah,
Yeah.
Renoir approaching, and like, something bad's gonna happen, and then you just get the
Yeah. Yeah, dude. That, oh my god. Like the
yeah,
fact that, yeah, two acts, the prologue and act one both ended in just like
death.
like I texted my cousin because I saw he was on one day, or like it was a few days ago, and I'm like, "Hey, how far are you?" He goes, I just found all the bodies on the island after we got to like that after the expedition." So the part where he's probably about to kill himself, and Lune says, "Please don't do it because you'll kill us both," because she's sitting next to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just reply, I'm like, "That prologue though," and he just replies, "Amazing, literally amazing,"
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, it's one of those things where it's like I don't want to be like, "Well, just wait till the end of Act One," because I don't want to people to be like
Well,
waiting
what's gonna
for it.
happen?
I just,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like the same thing. It's like when you tell someone like, "Oh man, the twist in that movie was crazy." It's like, well, I didn't know there's a twist. Now I'm expecting it. Like,
Yeah.
it's, I don't consider it a spoiler. Like, I know the joke with LSM is people are always complaining Gene's spoiling stuff. It's like, well, what constitutes a spoiler? That's saying that there's a twist. It kind of ruins it a little bit, but it's not technically a spoiler.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I never wanted to like, obviously in our Discord, I'm just like finished Act One with like a cry emoji or something like that, just like the very, because you don't really know what that means
Mm-hmm.
when if it's out of context. But yeah, my like I said, mine was Monaco, Lune, and Sael. I heard that there was like an OP Mael
Yeah,
build,
and
but
I
I
guess
never.
I guess they just patched it too.
Yeah, I saw that, which
Supposedly.
sucks because
Yeah.
I was hoping to use it to beat Simon, because that's the only thing I have yet to beat in the game is Simon, which is also stopping me from getting the last journal because you have to get his after you beat him. And I thought it was just the one stage. I beat the first stage and I was like, hell yeah. But then, of course, he starts hearing the voices like, are you going to fail? Are you done with your mission? I was just like, oh no, he's getting back up. And then, of course, he gets up and he's 6 times tougher than he was. So I
Mm-hmm.
have not beaten Simon, and I am not level 99. Those are the only 3 achievements I don't have in the game. Did you platinum the game?
No, because I put it on Steam because I got it as a gift.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But I just started. Oh, then just I started replaying it on PlayStation probably about a week and a half ago. I'm about halfway through Act Two, but I'm really taking
Mm.
I'm taking more time with it because on Steam I knew I was. I'm like, I'm not gonna go for every single achievement because I don't really don't care
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Steam achievements. So on PlayStation I am going for like every trophy, and I'm taking a little bit more time. I'm noticing more things as well. I'm noticing more inspirations. But you brought up those journals from the previous expeditions. I freaking love
Hmm.
those. Like that's
Oh
awesome.
yeah.
It is so cool, and some of them are like lighthearted and funny, while others are like much darker. Like did you get the one? Obviously you got the one with the expedition that focuses on like the car, like they're driving the car and they like get into the
Yeah.
accident, and they're like, "This is
Yeah.
to protect us. It's supposed to be armor."
Yeah.
Like it's like funny ones like that. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, or there's like the one where they you get there's a journal at like the Gestural Beach or whatever, and it's just like I'm gonna die on the just like talking about like I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just gonna die here having fun, and
yeah,
yeah, it was I love those. The only thing I wish with the journals is I don't know why no game has ever done this since, but I wish they were like BioShock journals where you pick them up and they just play as you're
play in game. Yeah,
playing. Like
yeah.
every other game since BioShock, it's you pick it up and you have to sit there and read it or listen to it in the menu. It's like, why can't we just pick these up and
The
move?
the worst was Arkham Asylum
Oh my
with that.
god, yeah.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
Um,
Like it's one of those things like it was the same with like Alan Wake. Like every time you find a page, you have to sit there and read it. It's like, can't you just read it out loud while I'm moving? Like you say everything else out loud. Why can't I just listen to it while I'm playing? So I skipped some of them just because there were a couple that were super long, and so if it well actually I didn't skip them. I would just read it myself because
I
I'm a
usually just
fairly
I
quick
read them all
reader.
myself anyway. Like I didn't
Yeah,
wait for him to play.
yeah. If they were shorter, I'd let them say it, but most of the time I read it myself. But yeah, I wasn't huge on Gustav's comp or not Gustav Verso's combat. I just like the ranking system. I just didn't think that one
Hmm.
was very fun, so I didn't play with him.
I think it's a
I
step
kind
down from Gustav.
Yeah, I kind
Definitely.
of wish I didn't really get into Miles either. I her like obviously her virtuoso stance of making everything 200% is like it was
Yeah.
cool, but I didn't like that if you got hit by an enemy, you lost your stance. Like so, you really had to perfect a parry or a dodge, or else you were going to lose it, which kind of sucked because no one else lost their powers if they were hit. So that's really the only
Everyone
reason.
what I liked about that is everyone kind of had like their own unique kind of like combat thing. Like with
Yeah, that I
Gustav,
did like that.
you have like the extra, you don't have like the like you have like the extra points system that you have to like build up in order to like overcharge and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Where and then
the
Lune, you have like
gradient
all the different
system and all that.
elements. Um,
Yeah,
I actually really
yeah.
like the stance system. It's taken so totally out of Lost Odyssey. There's a whole like character who does the same thing. It's with the
Oh,
stances, and
really?
I'm like, all right, this is so perfect. Yeah, and you have to. The problem with and the difference with Lost Odyssey is like if you get there's no like dodge mechanic in Lost Odyssey, so if you just get hit, like you lose the
Mm,
stance. Whereas this, at least they give you the chance to kind of like keep your
yeah.
stance.
Yeah, the only thing that they wouldn't let you dodge was if you fought a blight enemy. They would always
Mhm.
put the blight on you, and there's no way to like dodge it, which sucks because it's like, I mean, it was a challenge to get down to 1 health and have to survive, but eventually, I don't remember who it was. You were able to, I don't know if you used it. You were able to drop. They dropped an anti blight
Yeah.
uh, perk, whatever they're called. So I had that for the rest of the game because I was tired of getting after that blight enemies became insanely easy because you were no longer 1 health. But yeah, I did love that every character had their own ability. Like Monaco was in my party mostly because I wanted to get all the feet for him, and so I was surprised some of the enemies that you needed to. So I had him in my party all the time because there are some bosses that you have to have Monaco in your party to get their foot. So I though I don't know if there's any that aren't repeated. So if you do miss one, I don't know if you use Monaco in your party ever, but
I
because I think
very rarely, very
because
rare. It's funny
I
because no, go on.
no go
I was gonna say
no go
I'm like it's so funny with me. Like I love my JRPGs and turn-based combat but when I have my established party and they introduce
hmm
someone new, it's really difficult for me to change that up. The only game like RPG series where I can constantly change party members and like be fine is Pokemon, which is funny because like that's like
oh
the
yeah
and that's like the that's a problem in Pokemon when people are like, oh no, I have my set team, like I can't change. But like a ton like and it really back in Octopath Traveler 1 when I first played it, you need to use, and same thing with Final Fantasy VI. At the end of the game, you need to use every single party member, like no matter even like it
Oh,
splits off into two parties, and you have to
uh,
and like so like one of my parties would always be like was like so underleveled, and I always get so wary of that now. But it's still, for some reason, once I'm set with my party, it's like they introduce someone new. I'm like, nope, they're not joining. Sorry, I'll try them. I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, I don't really like them that much. Even though if I use them, I'd probably be like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, I in Final Fantasy VII, I was always Cloud, Barret, and Tifa. That's all the entire game. But I remember when I was trying to get the achievements, I did start swapping in people because you have to get all their powers leveled up or
Yeah,
whatever. So, and I actually I enjoy having Vincent. Sid was the only one I was just like, why I don't want Sid, but thing is, speaking of that kind of though, I like, obviously this game pays homage to so much stuff, but I like that they did it right where it's not like you said how Mael's powers are basically like from Lost Odyssey or whatever. Like I like that it's more of an homage. Like it didn't feel ripped off. Nothing in the
yeah.
game felt ripped off from
It's
other
not a
games.
carbon
It just,
copy of it.
yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, let's. How about oh crap, what was I gonna get? I wanted to lead that into something else, and now I just forgot what it was. Um, well, how about let's just go through let's hop through the story because obviously this is the
Yeah,
biggest part of the game. So we start with the prologue of I love how like the only reason I knew what was going to happen, like kind of what was going to happen, is because I remember reading the synopsis for the game where it's like every year it goes down an age number and everyone like disappears. I was like,
yeah,
oh, that's an awesome concept. So, but I love that if you didn't know that, like I watched Locke play. He streamed it because he lost a bet or something like that, and I watched him play, and he's just like, "What are these people talking about?" Like they're going through the prologue of like, because everyone's talking about the Gamage, and you don't really know what it is. Like the only time it even seems like it's like a thing where people die is when you go past like the floors, and she's like, "There's just less and less people to wear these every year, and it's sad." And so like that talks about how the population is dwindling. But I love it because yeah, you're just going through town, and it almost seems like a festival that people are like
yeah.
ready for, but
They almost it's almost like they like mute to it, where it's like, oh, this is like this is like a new year. It's like our celebration. Like we
yeah.
know it's gonna be so bad, so we're gonna celebrate life, everyone's
Hmm.
life right now, because we know tomorrow is gonna be bad. And then even like jumping like a little bit forward after that, like right before the expedition leaves, like there's a huge party. It's like a send off party, and like
Yeah.
they're even lightheartedly joking around there with like, I knew we'd have more tables in Expedition 34. I knew it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was just so well done that it reminded me, not in terms of like, I mean kind of in terms of the setting, but it reminded me of BioShock as a game where from the beginning I was just sucked into it. Like there, it wasn't like it wasn't one of those games where it's like, don't worry, after 30 hours it gets good. Like it
Yeah,
was one of those where like
it's not a slow
immediately,
opening. It's not a slow burn.
yeah. Yeah, and so that's I loved that about it because I do remember playing like when everyone was starting, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, I just completed the prologue," and getting there and just that somber music playing while everyone just disappears. And of course, I know you made the joke last week of how everyone disappears, and then the last is Sophia, and it's
Yeah,
just like because they're standing in the front of the pier, so they got to have their moment of like I'm with you or whatever, and like I did find that funny, but at the same time, it was just so well done. Like with the kids in the gestural masks standing there and everyone disappears around. Like it was just so
yeah.
hauntingly. Did you miss the mime the first time you played it?
No, I when
The
I
metal.
saw the mime the first time, and I went up. It is those mimes. It is pretty. It is. They are like so interesting. They are so French too. It's so funny.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and when you fight, and when you do fight the mimes, like the music just like changes to this like upbeat like Frenchy tune, and you're
like
like, what is
accordion.
going on here?
Yeah,
And then when you
yeah.
beat them, like you get like the outfit of the baguette.
Yeah, it's yeah. I think the outfit is called baguette or whatever. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
all of
it's
them
the
are.
typical the mime shirt, the black and white
Yeah,
stripes, and you get the hat, whatever it's called. I was gonna say fedora, but it's not fedora. Whatever that hat is called. But that's basically what you get for every single mime is just that stupid costume or the gestural beach. How you get the swimsuits,
hmm
but yeah, the prologue. So it starts off just setting the tone like this is going to be a very somber story, which is again where I got Attack on Titan vibes of them being in their town and they're helpless to the paintress changing the number. Like there's nothing they can do. They just have to sit and watch, and they see the number go from 34 to 33 and they're just like, oh no. But the one thing that made me think that I didn't think what happened was gonna happen, obviously, but it did give me pause a little bit where was it Mael? I can't remember. Someone goes as you're walking towards the harbor. It was either Mael or Sophia or someone who's just like, she seems sad. And when they said that, I was just like, oh, I wonder if she's doing this like against her will or something. Like I was trying to think of like, why is the paintress doing this? Because obviously, I mean, you can even see she's sitting there with her head in her hand, with her head in her hands, like with her, bent over, the hair covering her. Like you can tell she's not like an angry god who's just like, you and now you shall all die kind of thing. Like you could tell there's some distress there. So I really loved that, and I was like, I wonder if that's gonna be something. And then obviously we find out later that it was. But yeah, so we get to the party, and then there's the first missable there of you have to get the old key from the girl because that leads to a journal later. But then Mael's there, and she's obviously the only one who's not 33 years old. She's sitting there like, I'd rather not live here kind of thing.
Which is so crazy to me because like Gustav says, oh, you have like 9 more years, but then you have to do the math. She's only 16 because each year it goes down, but you also age up. So she's only 16 going on this, which is pretty crazy to think about. Also in the prologue, I want to mention, did you go to one of the trash cans and interact with the trash can?
Yeah, it just says like it's a trash can or whatever.
Did you do it? If you do it 5 times, do you know what happens?
No.
If you do it a 5th time, it finally happens. The guy's like, "Shh, I'm trying to hide in here. Maybe the paintress won't recognize me. I've been in here for 6 months."
Dang it! I didn't see
because I've been in here for 6 months.
You could click on one.
I kept clicking on it because I'm like, there's no way. This is the reason you have this is here. So I clicked on it like a couple times, and then I figured, I'm like, oh, maybe you like get something from the festival, and then you can go over and interact with it. So then I went over into it and just interacted it with 2. I'm like, I'll just do it a couple more times. And then a guy goes, stop it! Like he goes like, shh, I've been hiding in here for 6 months. I'm trying to avoid the paintress. It's pretty funny. Yeah,
that's awesome. I love the little moments like that. Like in when you get to the Gestural Village, one of the houses you go by is on fire, and you go talk to the Gestural, and he's just sitting in the middle of the fire, and he says, "This is fine." I'm like, "Oh, there's the meme."
There's a lot of like, there's like a little bit like comedic vibes to it, like comedic little like hints to like lightheartedness. Like even if like when you talk to everybody in the prologue, like it is so interesting to get everyone's different perspectives on things too. Like to the point where you can infer like Sophie and Gustav's relationship, like they're exes. They're not currently together, which is makes it even like kind of like, oh, that's interesting that she wants to be with him like in her like final moments. And you kind of infer that Sophie didn't want to have children when Gustav did, and that's why they kind of broke up. And it's really, if you start thinking about it, like from Sophie's perspective, it's like, why would you want to bring children into this world? Because you're gonna die soon. They're not gonna see you grow up, and then each year they're just gonna it's gonna get like the population's gonna go down and down, and then eventually it's gonna get to the point where like there's no one left.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really interesting to think about. And then some people are like for the expedition, and some people aren't. And then I forget which character it is. One of them even says to Gustav, it's like she was originally gonna go on the expedition, and then she like kind of like changed her mind and backed out. And she says like, I think it's braver to live my final year here knowing I'm gonna, it's like you can infer that she's trying to say like it's braver for me to live here for the year knowing I'm gonna die than go out on this expedition.
Yeah, because it's obvious, because to them they see it as a waste of time. All those people just go out and get themselves killed. So it's like, why not spend your final year with your loved ones instead of spending your final year getting yourself killed? Like, so I like that, because it's that whole thing of it's like people. There's been 60 expeditions before them. It's like, why do you think you're gonna? Yes, well, it's like, why do you think you're gonna be the ones who do it? Like 67 people, no one's ever returned. Like, you're not gonna do it, kind of thing. So I love that because it's a real thing. It's how it would be in real life. That there'd be some people who's
Exactly.
like, I'm going to do everything I can to live, and then there's some people who are like, it's out of our control. There's no point in fighting it.
And honestly, there's like real no right answer. Like there's no, it's all a
Yeah,
case by case basis. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, we talked about how like before the expedition, all the expeditioners are like so ready to go. They're like so on board. They're like, yeah, we're gonna do this. This is gonna be us. This is gonna be our time. And it's such a drastic change when you get to that island. And like,
yeah.
th- go on. Yeah,
Like, well, no, I was gonna say it's like, yeah, you could. It's where again where I kind of got the Attack on Titan vibes, where it's like this whole crew who's been training and getting ready for this, and they're all immediately eviscerated. Like,
yeah,
it was so, and it was a really cool thing. Of like they didn't get there, and it was just like Nevrons. There was a guy there in an expedition uniform. You're like, who the hell is this guy?
whoa,
Like,
that guy has white hair.
yeah, yeah. The one guy's like, "You're so old. How are you old?" Like kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like, how'd you survive the Gamage? And he just beheads the leader immediately, and it's just
yep,
that's when you're like, "Oh, what? This is."
yeah,
I didn't realize how many people were on the expedition though, because they don't really
yeah. There's a
ever.
lot. Yeah.
They don't ever really show it. It's just like, which is like how many bodies you find on the map.
Which is even funnier to think about that there's that many for this one. Think about the like expedition, like I don't know, like 50, because each one you're probably gonna think there's probably more people in that because it's older and older. There's probably more
Hmm.
people, so it's interesting to think about how some expeditions got further and some didn't. Also, this is the first expedition where they went to the. It's the second expedition where they go to the beach area. They mentioned that like, oh, this is the second time we're going to the beach area to start
Hmm.
out. I think it was expedition. I think it was Expedition Zero, which they actually make a joke about how like they named the first one Zero and it should have been called Zero.
It should have
Um,
been like 100 or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, right away, and then you even hear Gustav's like "F the X." He says like "F the expedition," like
Yeah.
immediately, just change
Yeah,
immediate.
he just sees everyone get slaughtered, so he goes to kill himself, and obviously Lune saves him. And yeah, that's when we obviously hop into Act One, and I liked it because it's funny because when after you get off of or out of that forest that you start out in, you get to the open world for the first time, and I saw how far up the Painters was, and I was like, how big is this freaking
Yeah,
map? Because there was all these areas like right next to you that you walk to, so I thought the whole map was gonna be like that, but obviously later on it gets open and you fly, so or swim, so it's separated. They're way more separated, and all that little bottom island is a bunch of stuff congested together, but later on it's way split up, thankfully, because I was like, if this is like an Assassin's Creed map where there's something every 2 feet, I'm gonna
yeah.
lose my mind. But
The open world aspect is such like it's so JRPG. It's so like SNES PS1 JRPG vibe where like you're out on this giant map and you're not really walking that much, but like in game, like you like in your head, you're like, oh my god, we're walking probably like 50 miles here. We're in game
yeah,
walking like for like 2 minutes, and
yeah,
it is so.
exactly.
And I love like setting camp and like you're setting camp and you know you talk to your team, you talk to your party members, and even like you can like write down like for the future expeditions you can journal and everything. Like I love that whole it's just so it's such a comfortable feeling for me because it's like it's such my favorite type of game, and I just love it, and
Yeah.
it's such an evolution. It really, I love the fact that it's not like random encounters. You can see the enemies on the field, and like you can go and
Hmm.
like you can get the first strike on them. It's really all like they did a really good job with the open world site, the open world aspect, and it's not like they wait. A lot of games like this, the open world aspect, they like wait like like 20-25 hours before you actually get to it. Whereas this is like first couple hours you're thrown right into it.
Yeah, yeah, I'd love that about it is the no random encounter, because it was nice, because I mean I played on, if everyone's gonna make fun of me, but I played on story mode because that's what I play every game on now, because I like
Hmm.
enjoying the story and not having to worry about constantly dying. But I love that you could avoid a boss, or not a boss, but like because obviously the boss was usually blocking the way, but you could avoid enemies if you didn't feel like fighting. Like later on in the game, there was their what was it, Renoir's drafts or whatever, that
Mm-hmm.
that area, and those enemies were all really strong. And so eventually I started kind of running past them. Like, it's not that they were difficult, it's just that they were bullet sponges, and I'm like, I don't want to fight these enemies for
It's
like
gonna take a
literally
long
20
time. Yeah,
minutes.
it's gonna take a really
Yeah,
long time.
because there were a couple bosses that literally took me over an hour. Like, I checked yesterday. I put 45 hours into this game, and I'm 3 achievements shy of finishing it. And of course, the last one that probably I would have had to get to level 99, and it's like 10 million experience per level or whatever. So it would take a long time to get to level 99. But yeah, it's just me sitting there. There was a couple bosses, yeah, that took like over an hour, and I'm just like, this is I don't want to fight and especially when some of them are like normal enemies that take you 20 minutes. I'm like, I don't want to do that. So it was nice that you're able to skip over a lot of them. But yeah, I guess the act one, there's not, obviously you meet the gestrels and all that. There's not like a
I
lot
love the
of,
gestrels. I freaking love. They're so funny.
yeah,
They're
they
like
they remind
so
me of like,
simple. They're so simple minded too.
yeah, they remind me kind of Moogles. Like like Moogles are
Yes.
smarter, obviously,
Yeah.
but yeah, they're just like the goofy. Yeah, they're all like it. Well, it was so funny because there were a few times I kind of felt bad for him because Milo would be like, "Oh, he's dumb. Must be a gestural." I'm like, man, just talking down to these people. What are you
Right in front of
doing?
them. Right in front of them too. Like yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, actually, there was one thing before they. I think it's before they meet the Gestrals. Yeah, because Miles with them when they meet them. Is you find the manor. I expected actually there to be more with the manor. I thought there would
Mm,
be like an achievement for opening all the doors or something, which there isn't. Oh,
yeah.
obviously to open them, there's some that come with luminas or whatever, or journals. So I guess there is some point to it, but I assumed there'd be like
Yeah,
open.
especially when you first go in and you see like every door is locked, and you're like, all right, well, obviously we're gonna have to come back here, and it's gonna be like insane. Like each room is gonna have a significant impact on the
Yeah.
party or the story, and it's like, no, not really. Like
Yeah, they
when you
just yeah.
first, the first time you can go back there is when you go to the Gestural Village and you after the tournament you like you can go in through like another way, and like you're in like almost like a kitchen area, and you're like rotating pans and
Mhm.
you're rotating things, and I'm like, and then all of a sudden you're in the manor again, and I'm like, well, how, like, what, this had like nothing. I
Yeah.
was thinking, I'm like, well, how am I here again?
Yeah. Yeah, I did like that. It was kind of for actually though, I was kind of one thing that bummed me out a little bit is I thought it was going to become like a fast travel system
Oh, through
because
the
it
doors.
yeah, but
Yeah,
then no, it's just you open a room and then you have to exit through the main door and you're back to where you were. It's like, oh,
yeah,
that was kind of because yeah, some of them like yeah, there was that one with the pots. In the manor, there's the one where you flip the 4 things in the dining room and there's like a secret door. Like I expected them to all have puzzles and stuff, but most of them are literally just you go there, you pick it up, and you leave. Like, oh, that was kind
yeah,
of lame. But obviously, when you get to the manor, you meet the curator, who you don't know who he is or what he's doing, and but he's looking out for Mael, so you're kind of like, huh. That's kind of where
why,
I got
like, yeah, like
the
why,
idea.
like, yeah, like, why is he looking out for her? Like, how, like, she just got here, like, all of a sudden he's like, also now I'm gonna be looking out for her.
Yeah,
And it
that's where.
instantly right away from that point on, I'm like, okay, Mael, somehow she's linked to all of this. Like, there's something going
Yeah,
on with her. And then you, like, especially when you like think about her backstory, she's orphaned at 3. She doesn't know anything about anything beforehand.
yeah. Yeah, and then when the first time you go to camp and everyone freezes and Renoir and uh
Alicia.
Alicia, yeah, they show up and they're like, "You're this is your chance to leave. Do it, and we'll spare your like kind of thing. We'll spare your friends and all that." And she's obviously says no. But the second they showed up and Alicia was short, I was like, "That's she's related to Mael somehow."
Yeah,
Like I
they.
was
I
like,
mean, they even look alike.
yeah, I'm like they're the same size. They both have long hair. Hers is just white, where Miles is red. And I'm like, they're definitely related somehow. I didn't think they'd be the like literally the same person, but I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, they're something about them. They're obviously related, and then
When
obviously because she's
my
having the visions.
Yeah, my initial thought was that it was like some type of clone. I'm like, this is gonna be a clone. It was kind of
Yeah,
eh.
Yeah, that's it. That's. I mean, obviously, I had no idea it was going to be the whole painting thing of they like none
Yes.
of them were literally real, but so yeah, all that happens, and then we get to the end of Act One. Unless is there anything else in Act One we wanted to talk about? I think.
I mean, more of it's just kind of like you're exploring the world. You're learning the mechanics. You're learning. I mean, you meet at SKA.
Yeah, meet Eskia. You get Sael when you go to the Gestural Arena.
That
Um,
arena, that tournament was so easy. It was so much easier than I thought
I
it was gonna
know.
be. I was so hyped. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a great tournament. Love this. And then I'm like, oh,
I
it's
expected it to
so
be like.
easy.
Yeah, I expected it to be like Kingdom Hearts, where it's like there's another tournament being held at the Coliseum. I expected it to
Yeah.
be like that, where throughout the game they'd add more and more, and but no, it's just the three. You fight the three Gestrals, and you're done. You're like, oh,
Oh, I
okay,
love the secret. I love the secret password they give you too. And then you
oh,
go there, and it's like, oh
yeah,
yeah,
get
there
out
was
of
no
my way.
password. There was no
Yeah,
password.
and then Gustav,
Gustav's like, I'm
they're like
sorry.
say it as loud as you can, and he hurts the Gestral's feelings by yelling at him.
And then he's like super. And then as they're leaving, he holds back. He's like, I really am sorry.
Yeah, that was
All right.
hilarious.
So speaking of SKA, it gave me when I first like saw like the appearance of him, it gave
Mhm.
me Avatar: The Last Airbender vibes. Like
Yeah, I could see that.
some of like the creatures in there, like I can't remember an Avatar if it was like remember the library episode? That's a pretty iconic episode. Like they lose like Appa.
It's been a while. I haven't watched
Oh,
Avatar in a few years,
well, they
so I
like
don't
lose
really
Appa
remember it.
there, and it reminded me of like the librarian person, and it reminded me of the person you're not supposed to look at in the face in like the I don't even know, like the spirit realm or whatever. I haven't watched Avatar in a while, but it gave me Avatar: The Last Airbender vibes. That's all I'm gonna say.
Nice. It looks like what? It was like an owl at the library.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. It just gave me those vibes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. Well, I mean, it was also there was so much variance in all the worlds. Like the one that's like you're underwater, but you're not technically underwater.
Yeah,
Like the gestural forest, and then there's like the battlefield and all. Like every level had its own look, and it was. I loved it that they were able to do that, and with the same with it, it was that. I mean, it's kind of like Heartless and Kingdom Hearts, where it's like every level introduces kind of a new enemy also, and then they kind of just appear later on also just because they don't want to one off them. But yeah, I love but yeah, I loved the world. Obviously, I can't say that enough. But yeah, then we get to the end of Act One, and obviously the big moment happens of you defeat the Lamp Master, and they're like, "All right, we're ready to set sail." And yeah, like you said, Gustav picks up one last rock, and Renoir just I I don't know if I was in denial or what, but I was just sitting there like, is he gonna get up? Like, is she gonna save him
yeah,
somehow? Like, I'm like, there's no way, because like at the start of the act, Lune saves him from killing himself. So you think like, oh, he's gonna have this motivation. He's gonna get to the end and he's writing in the journal for his apprentices. Like, there's no way they're gonna do this. And then nope, he's dead. And then the one thing that did kind of bum me out is later in the game, obviously they do the whole thing of like, oh, everyone can return. I was like, oh, that kind of takes away the impact
yeah.
of
The
everyone's
whole
deaths.
Marvel
But
thing. It's like the
yeah,
Marvel stamp.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, but at the moment I was just like, what? They like, and then in Act Two when Verso's on the team, he's like, I know a place where we can bury him, and that is such a beautiful scene of where she takes the arm, buries it at the grave, and
yeah.
like, oh man, that just so many great moments in this game. Uh oh, the other thing from the first act when you find the flower on the ground and like
And he
Gustav picks it.
thinks back to Sophie.
Yeah, and so when that happened, I was like, part of me was like, do these people turn into Nevrons when they're gamaged or something? Like, I was like, maybe that's Sophie's like Nevron or something. Like, that's what I was trying to think of, because even Lune makes the comments like, it didn't attack until you picked the flower, and so I was
Yeah,
trying to figure out like, are these people that were like that are turning into Nevrons? But obviously that was never came to pass. But that was kind of my thought. Like, I love it because it's one of those games where it's like not everything is as it seems kind of thing, and so I loved that kind of stuff. But yeah, in Act Two we go to the battlefield and all that, and then
can I say one more thing about Verso? I
yeah, of course.
love his inspiration for helping them. Like they're like, "Why are you here? Like, why are you gonna help us?" And he's like, "Well, I'm tired. Like he's been alive for so long. He's like, I'm tired of seeing loved ones I love die."
Yeah, yeah,
And it's the complete contrast to Renoir, like complete contrast where he just wants to live. He's so selfish, wants to live
yeah.
forever. It's like complete contrast.
Yeah, even though well, I guess that's a different. That's the part that confused me. Is I was like, because when he dies, obviously there's the other Renoir, and you're like, wait,
Yeah,
so was he actually trying to like? Was that the painting version who wanted to live forever, or was that Renoir himself who's like wanting him to live forever? Like,
yeah,
I was confused by that part, but yeah. So then Act Two is that's when we meet Monaco, and that's
hmm
we yeah, because then we defeat the Axons to get to the painters and all, which is where I thought the game was ending because I was like, that's kind of weird that a game only has two acts. Usually there's three acts and something, and then because then once you beat the painters, there's the epilogue. So I thought like,
yeah,
oh, we're done. But then of course this also has just the amazing ending of an act where you think like, oh, we get back, we saved the day, Mr. Krabs, we saved the town, and then you find out, nope, the paintress was not a bad guy, and it's just that she was losing her power every year and could only have the power to save up to this age every year. So she had to make the sacrifice of getting rid of the oldest every single year. And when they killed the paintress, Renoir is unleashed and able to wipe out everyone like he wanted
yep.
to,
And
and
everyone
everyone dies
except for Verso.
except for Verso and that. All right, so that confused me. Also, did that version of Mael disappear, or did she turn into the gray hair one? Like, I kind of
That's the though it did get a little confusing at the end with the fake like the real version and then like the painted like the fake version.
yeah,
It's a little difficult to follow, and I will be interested to see when I get there. Here, since I'm replaying it right now, if
yeah,
I'm able to pick up on things that I didn't pick up on, because I am picking up on things like I said that I didn't see, and I wonder if I'll be able to follow it a little bit more clearly. Um, but yeah, it's funny that the canvas version, basically the canvas
yeah,
version.
yeah.
Um, yeah, no, it is. I didn't see it coming where the paintress was like, "Oh, I'm doing this for like I need to do this or I'm gonna like basically die." I really didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I didn't see it in the sense of, even though when they killed her and were on their way back to the island, I'm like, something bad happened. Like they weren't supposed to do that. Something like I didn't know that was gonna happen. I didn't think the Infinity War, fucking everyone being Thanos snatched, was gonna happen, but I did not. I did see like I said at the start of the game when they're like she looks sad. I was like she has to be doing something against her will, or she doesn't want to be doing like something's going on. But I didn't obviously know what it was. But then that's where it very changed its like it changed its vibe a little bit at that point, because then it does become the Mael is suddenly like she's a painter, so she's suddenly like this super powered like what's the word I'm looking for, where she knows all, like she's this all knowing character, all because she just randomly gets her memory back, so she knows who she is again.
She's an
And it's
omniscient
just like
character. Omniscient.
yeah, that's it, yeah. And so at that point I was like, I still liked it, but I was kind of feeling a little like I was like, is that really what we're gonna kind of now? She's like the know all person, and then it did start feeling a little weak, where she's able to bring back the party, obviously, because you need your party back. It's not just gonna
Yeah.
be those two for the rest of the game. But then they do the whole like I guess we didn't talk about the thing I love about the camp was you got to spend time with each person and increase your friendship and do like these little cutscenes. And of course, all the Siel is that they keep banging, but they do it one last time where they're like, oh, like Verso, I guess, doesn't take the hint. He's like, oh, let's do it one more time. And she's like, well, now that I know my husband can come back, I don't really want to keep doing this. And even then, you do it one more time anyway, just which is weird. But so it did feel a little bit like, oh, so no one's really dead kind of thing, and oh, people can
Yeah.
go. So it
Like did
did
everything really even like matter?
yeah. So it undoes the impact a little bit. It's not nothing's final anymore, but at the same time, it is cool. Like we might get to see Gustav again, which is awesome because obviously his death was horrific. But so yeah, we start that act with then it's basically just back to you go back to the game, and it's pretty much you just go straight to. Don't you go straight to Lumiere from there? Obviously, I traveled the world for 15 more hours, so I didn't get. But is it right after that is when you can go to Lumiere and finish it? I can't even remember.
Yeah, it's right after that. You can go to Lumiere and finish it, and yeah,
Yeah, because you gain the ability to fly, which basically opens the rest of the map to you. Other
it's like getting
than
the airship. It's like getting the airship in Final Fantasy. It's basically
yeah, basically. Yeah, and then you get the ability to swim underwater. I can't remember how you get that ability, but you get that eventually, which is nice because all it is you literally pick up luminas and like or is that what they're called? Luminas.
yeah.
Yeah, and each one in the ocean just has 5 luminas, so you're like, oh, there, I can power up my people. So I actually with those, I don't know how you did it. I basically for every like 4 I'd put on my main 3, I'd put 1 on on a Verso and Mael. So my big 3 had like 150 each, and those 2 had like 80. So I was decking them out. Actually, I think they ended up getting over 200 each because you find so many. But
Mhm.
did you I for about this when you go through the world, did you save all those Nevrons, the white ones, or like help them?
I'm doing it right now, currently on
Yeah.
Steam. I save if I like came across them, I'd save them. But
Hmm.
right now, I'm making a conscious effort to do it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because
is there
I
like a
didn't
huge pay?
know.
Is that don't tell me, but is there like a huge payoff to it?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah. You
okay,
do not want to. It gives you the option to attack them or leave. You always want to leave. I'll just say that you will
okay.
always want to leave them. There is one. It's not really spoiling it, but there is one where you're not given the option. You have to fight it, but it's part of its story. So you'll see when you get to it. But yeah, do not attack any of them. You will get a fantastic reward for not doing so. It's kind of like
Oh,
Bioshock in that sense of save those little sisters, don't kill them.
also, speaking of optional fighting, how about anytime you go to like a vendor or a merchant, you can fight them for like the
Yeah,
extra. That was so cool. I love that.
yeah. You fight them for an extra like weapon or whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was a picto or something. Yeah, it was. I loved it. One of them in I don't know if you fought this one in Renoir's drafts. He has 2 enemies with him, and they're really tough. And
Yes.
so you
Yeah.
have to fight
They
all
are a lot
3.
tougher. I struggle with that a little bit. I played on the hardest difficulty at first.
Oh wow!
Sometimes I would move it down, but then on my PlayStation playthrough, I'm playing on the hardest. I'm not changing it at all. But
Oh
again,
wow!
I really like. I love the whole turn-based combat aspect. I love perfecting the dodging, the parrying. I love studying the enemies and like some of them I have it down to a T where I can just like perfect dodge, parry, parry, perfect, perfect. Other ones I'm still like, oh, I really need to learn
That
this.
that's how I am with Simon. His parries are so difficult. Like he murders me. But did
Dude,
you
it's gonna
did you
make it
fight
that much. Oh no,
Oh
go
no,
on.
go.
I
No,
was
you
gonna say
go.
it's gonna make it that much more satisfying when you finally
Oh, I
slay
know.
the
Yeah.
demon.
I'm really debating. I'm like cuz I'm going to pick so I played this on Game Pass because obviously it's there, but I love this game so much I am going to buy it because I think this game deserves to support the devs. I mean, they've already sold 3 million copies. I think they showed
Which
or
is
was it 2
awesome.
million?
I
Yeah,
think it's 3. I know they've already made their money back. I know that.
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, but I'm going to buy it on PlayStation, and I think I will definitely go for the platinum for it. So I will make the effort, but with just achievements, it's like I'm so close, so I feel like I should. But Simon
Hmm.
is so freaking difficult, and when you die, of course, you have to play both phases again. So I'm like,
Yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah,
goddamn. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to, but
it
I will when I
reminds
get it on
me.
PlayStation
It
eventually.
reminds me of the optional boss at the end of Octopath 2, where there's multiple phases, and if you like fail in like the last phase, you have to go back and do the beginning. And like
Yeah.
at the beginning, you kind of like the way you're doing it, like you make one mistake, the whole fight's ruined. Like I've already screwed
Mhm.
up everything. There's no recovering from this.
Yeah, did you fight Clea? With
Yes.
first, yeah. So her fight, if you get hit by any attack, she heals over 500,000 of
Hmm.
her health, and you're like, oh my god.
It's
So
so
you
annoying.
have to
Yes.
basically hit her 3-1 to not have her
It
gain all of her health back.
before when I finally started landing like perfecting like where I can dodge and that it took me
Hmm.
like maybe 9 or 10 times to finally like get the timing
Yeah,
down where I could consistently do it.
yeah. For the first couple minutes, I was definitely letting her basically heal back to full, but eventually it did get to the point. I think where I only let like one or two attacks hit for the rest of the thing, so I killed her pretty quickly, but. Uh, so if you haven't played with Monaco much, I love his powers because well, I've always been I love elemental attacks, so that's why I also
Hmm.
love Lune because I love the finding the weaknesses where like Gustav he has light, but he's also mostly just physical attacks. Where I mean, Mael does have fire and stuff attacks, but I love like Lune has her one power. It only costs 4 AP, but you have to have the correct stains, and it's
Oh
like
yeah,
the
and then you absorb all the stains, and then you do like multiple attacks. I freaking
yeah,
love that. That move's
it's called like
awesome.
Elemental Fury or something. I can't remember what it
Yeah,
was, but yeah,
I
that one
can't
is
believe it
so
only.
good.
I cannot believe it only costs 4. Like I thought
Yeah,
it was going to
it's
cost way
purely
more than
because you
that.
had to have the stains right. That's like the
Yeah,
only reason. Like
it's
you're
so good.
rewarded for having the correct stains. Yeah, it's yeah. Lune is probably my favorite. If not, I love Sael just because I was so confused on how to use her techniques for so long, like what the foretell and all that was. I was like,
Hmm.
I don't. But eventually, it just kind of got to the point. I did figure it out eventually, but with most characters, it was just like when you open their attacks, just select the one with the gold text because that means that is going to be the one that's used best. So I ended up doing that most of the time. But yeah, I loved all that stuff. But yeah, so that final act, yeah, that's basically where once I had fly, I just cruised the the world. I did everything. It's so funny. Some of those bosses that are in the world, like I when you're early on, like it's like in Final Fantasy when you go under in the sub and there's what's it called swimming around down there. Um, I can't think what it's
The
called.
weapon.
Yeah, the weapon. Yeah, down there underwater, and you get there and it murders you in one attack. You're like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm not
I
supposed to
need to come
touch
back. I
this.
need to come back here later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there was
Which
those in this
even in
world
in
too.
this game, if you go to an area that you are severely underleveled, they'll say like this is like
It says danger. Yeah,
yes, it's very dangerous. Which is again that's taken right out of like a lot of modern day JRPGs do that.
yeah. I appreciate because I didn't know that it was one of those things where once you hit a certain level, it goes away. Because I didn't
Hmm.
obviously I don't play JRPGs that much, so I didn't realize that. But it was cool that eventually I did see that because I went back to one and it didn't say danger anymore. I was like, oh, so I guess I'm like it lets you know. And so then even though me playing at story mode and once you get the parry down, it's you could really beat anything. You don't really like I did beat one boss underleveled and that was the what was it called? The one that's like flying up in the sky, like the snake thing that absorbs your AP.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I fought him underleveled, but it's really just a parry. That's all you have to do. And obviously, all of my Luminas and Pictos were basically perfect parry gets AP. The one that doubles your AP for everything you get. So I was getting my AP back immediately, uh, which was nice because I started every with my characters every single turn. I almost every single turn I started with 9 every single time. So it was really nice being able to have access to any attack I wanted because a lot of my attacks I did have that were like 7, 8, 9 AP were required, but with those skills it was really simple. But yeah, so I guess we'll finish the plot and then we can go back into other
Yeah.
stuff. And so yeah, you
One
go to
thing we
Lumiere.
one thing we
Oh, yeah.
should probably just mention real quick is that when we're in Lumiere, you do find out that Renoir and the Paintress are like together. They're married.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then yeah, that is it's I love it because when you beat the paintress, like Verso's actually sad about like he holds
Hmm.
her as she dies and all that. But yeah, that's the part where it started getting confusing for me because I feel like not that it was rushed, but it was very quick of just like, oh, we're a family, we're the paintresses, we're the ones in charge of this, and it's just like, wait, what's going on? Like,
Yeah.
because the epilogue after is it right after Act 2? The
It's right
epilogue is
after Act
where
2. Yeah.
you play as Mael and you're out in the real world and you
Yep.
find out that's why you find out she's in the fire, her throat's burned, she can't speak, she's missing an eye, all that stuff. She's the gray-haired girl. And yeah, then all of a sudden you meet Clea, who is like really never mentioned before. Like she's just all of a sudden there, and you're like, who is this? And yeah, then it's like, oh, mom and dad are in the painting right now, and they're kind of sitting there just sitting in front of the painting. You're like, what is going on here? But yeah, that Mile kind of becomes the key to everything type thing. But
Yeah, I mean, she even
uh,
like Alicia even becomes, or Alicia even becomes Mael, like within
yeah,
like
yeah, exactly. So yeah, we get to the go back to Lumiere, and I love it when she does the. It feels so kind of Lord of the Ringsy, but it feels so cool where it's like she resurrects the dead expeditioners, and she had the army of dead expeditioners who come back to Lumiere to help fight, and you're running through the battlefield and you see them all fighting while you're trying to run through to get to
yeah, it's
Renoir. And
very much Lord
obviously,
of the Rings. Yeah.
yeah, you fight some on the way, obviously, and stuff like that. And yeah, then you finally get up there, and I think I feel like the one like the horse thing that has the ball on its back. I think they're called
Mm-hmm.
creations. I
Yeah, the
feel like
creations. Yeah.
that was supposed to be like it plot wise. I think that's the first time you meet one, and it's supposed to be like this deadly enemy. But I had fought so many of them in the side levels that
Yeah.
it was nothing to
It's
me.
one of those things that like if you do everything beforehand, it's like this is not that like you finally get to like a big story, but and you're like this is not that bad. This is nothing compared to what I've already fought.
Oh, dude, when I there's a side mission. I don't know. Did you do the one where you climb or not? It's not the endless tower. The crows where you finally
Yes.
put Alicia to rest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I fought her, I she whooped my ass the first time actually because I was playing as Mael, who I hadn't played with in a while. But when I lost, I just equipped all of the solo pictos that basically make you unstoppable if you're playing solo, and I killed her in literally 2 hits. Like I whooped Alicia almost immediately because of all like the attachments you can have on Mael or basically on any solo fight. So it is funny. It's like the thing of it's supposed to be this difficult thing, but you're low. And I was probably level 70 something by then. So it's like you basically walk through it at that point where like if you just do mainline it, you'd probably be like level 30 or 40 when you finish the game. But since
Yeah.
I was playing, I was in the 80s when I actually finished the game. So I like Renoir, I beat him almost immediately. I destroyed him.
Well, I mean,
But
compared to some of the optional stuff, he's like nothing, like you
yeah,
said.
well, I love that about JRPGs in general. It's like
Yeah.
sometimes, like in Kingdom Hearts, there's like the clock tower, the Phantom, and there's
Yep. The Phantom.
the one in
Kurt Zisa.
Atlanta,
Kurt Zisa.
Kurt Zisa. Yeah,
Yeah.
like there's those and Sephiroth, obviously. Like the side bosses are always more difficult than the actual final bosses. It's so JRPG. I love it. But yeah, so I beat Renoir pretty easily, and then is
We get
it
to the big
right after that
choice.
is when is when it ends and you do the final one, or was
Yeah,
there
we get
one
into the
other?
big. We get to no. Right after that, we get to the choice. The
Yeah,
big conflict between Verso and Alicia.
yeah. So before we get to that, actually, Chris DM'd me because I forgot to. I was gonna ask for questions from everyone before we did
Yep.
this, so that's my mistake. So Chris DM'd me and he goes, "Who did you pick, Mael or Verso?"
Well, I was about to ask you.
Yeah, so that's his question to pose to us. I picked Mael.
Okay, so I picked Verso.
Okay, I actually did watch the Verso online later because I wanted to know, but
I'm gonna pick. I'm
yes,
gonna pick. Yeah, I'm gonna pick the other one on this playthrough.
yeah, that's what I'll do next time also. But
Yeah.
I was gonna do New Game Plus, but I am almost done with it, and I wouldn't really gain much by doing it again, so I'm probably not gonna New Game Plus it. But yeah, so Mael's ending. You get to pick as you fight as her, and you beat Verso for obviously. Hopefully, if you're listening to this, you played it, so you understand that this is happening. I hope no one's listening to this, letting the stuff get spoiled. So you beat Renoir, and you find out basically that Mael is almost killing herself by being there, and
Hmm.
it's like it's detrimental to people to be in the paintings for so long. But Mael has the mindset. So Verso's mindset is this painting is the last of his soul because Verso is Mael's brother who died in real life in the fire. Mael survived and was, uh, you know, everything after her face is burned, lost her eye, and all that. And so Verso's thought is, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. You need to let me go to like be put to rest. And Mael's mindset is, I don't have a life outside of this painting. I feel more alive in here than I ever would out in the real world where I merely exist. And everyone in here deserves to live, because if Verso chooses, the painting, which is the entire world, goes away. And so you really have to make this thing of like, it's almost seems like Mael's being selfish because she wants herself to live, where Verso's also being selfish because he wants everyone to die so he can rest. And so there's neither ending is really technically like the good ending.
Yeah, they're pretty
They
much they're
both
both
have
very
they both have their
vague.
reasonings, but they're both bad in a way.
Hmm.
So I actually really loved that it wasn't good ending or bad ending. It was just like, it's a double-edged sword of pick your poison kind of thing. And so Mael's ending, did you watch it, or have you not seen it?
I've not seen it, no, but I don't really. You can tell me, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. So I mean, you'll see it. It's better when you watch it, obviously. But so if Mael wins, you kill Verso, and he kind of does. He fades off into, he gets gamaged and he fades away, and she leaves his body, which is the kid there, to paint, and it cuts to you're back in Lumiere. Everyone is attending a concert, which is actually Verso. He's older, and obviously, if you find out through the game, he plays piano. And so everyone's back. You see Gustav and Sophia holding hands coming into the concert. Silas sitting there with her husband, and Miles sitting there all happy, like, oh, we're all together again. And Gustav takes the stage. He stares he doesn't look happy. He's on stage and he's just kind of staring at the piano for like 30 seconds. And then he starts playing, and everyone's, enjoying the concert, and it cuts to Mael, and you see her face fading away. Like it shows that she's happy in this world, but it is killing her. Like you see her face, like,
Hmm.
like kind of how Cleo looked, where her face is kind of gamaging, but it's still there. And so that's how you see Mael, and then it ends. And so it's the thing of, it's the happy ending. Everyone's there, but you can see Verso is miserable because he's being forced to exist, and Mael's happy, but she's falling apart. And so it's a sad ending, but it's also kind of happy because everyone's alive again. So it's this whole thing of like, is she delaying the inevitable of everyone will eventually cease to exist, or is she just killing herself by being here? And it's a fantastic ending. I think I liked it a little more than Verso's, but it yeah, it's great because, yeah, it's not technically a happy ending, but it kind of in a way is. But yeah, you picked Verso, so what happens in Verso's ending?
So in Versus ending, he banishes her from the canvas. He does not want it, and basically he believes that the canvas is necessary, but it's flawed. There's like a flaw. It's an like he wants to preserve a world without pain. Um, he doesn't want the truth to come out. He thinks it's um the truth, the illusion of like the world that they're living in is better than the actual, like, um seeing seeing her die, basically. You reshape the canvas basically rather than destroy it. She's Alicia's Male is defeated. Verso becomes essentially the new painter of Lumiere. He reshapes the illusions with the purpose that he wants. The Gamage ends, but the world is not still real. It's not. It's still an artificial. It's still artificial. Um, he's basically in control of everything. It's a little different.
Huh. I Is there multiple more endings to this game, because that is not what I saw.
That's how I perceive it.
Okay, because the ending I watched online, I don't know, maybe I just misinterpreted what you said, but the ending I saw was he defeats Mael, and then he takes the hand. It's the first time he so in the during throughout the game, it's just called like the Shadow Boy or something like that, or the Young
Hmm.
Boy or something. and he takes the hand of that kid and he goes, "It's time to rest, Verso." And so like that's the first confirmation you get that it's Verso. And as he picks his hand up, uh Esquier and Monaco both walk into where they are, and he says, "I'm gonna miss you," and they fade off into existence or into nothingness. And then Sael walks in, and she reaches out to take his hand, and she disappears. And then Lune walks in, and she's just like, she sits down. You don't see her disappear, but she sits down, like has an angry look on her face, looks at him, and sits down. And then Verso turns around, takes the hand of the kid, and they fade off into nothingness. And then it cuts to the real world where Clea, Renoir, the paintress, I can't remember her actual name, and Mael or Alicia are all they're all standing at Verso's grave, and they're kind of doing the finality thing of he's finally laid to rest, and they're all sitting at his grave, and Mael looks out and sees the expedition waving to her, and they all fade into nothingness, and then it goes to credits. And I was like, that's what I saw. So I don't know.
So I'm interpreting it as the. Wait, hang on 1 second. Maybe I picked my L. Maybe I did pick my L. I think I did. I can't even remember. I think I did pick my L.
Okay, so yeah, you saw them all at the concert and everything.
Yeah, them at the because I do recognize what you were when you were saying that. I'm like, oh yeah, that is what I saw.
Okay,
So yeah,
yeah.
I think I did pick
Yeah.
my L.
So yeah, you're right where she's like they are in control of it, but it's everything's not. It is an everything's not as it seems kind of ending.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
So I picked my L. Never mind.
Okay.
Oops.
Yes, because Verso's is much sadder, and everyone dies, and it fades away, and he's finally put to rest. But yeah, so that's the ending, and then so yeah. Other than that, I'm trying to think. Is there anything else we wanted to touch on? Because I mean, there's so much to this game. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I loved it. I also loved the camp was fun in the sense that I liked that you were able to get close with everyone. I know I briefly mentioned earlier with Sile, you guys bang and whatnot, and then in the end he teaches her to swim, which is really nice because I actually loved that because Sile, her backstory is she loses her husband and she doesn't want to live anymore, so she decided, and she was pregnant at the time. She swims basically until she can't swim anymore to drown, and as she does that, she said, I was in the middle of the ocean. I like faded from consciousness and I just woke up back in Lumiere. I didn't know what happened, but I was still alive. And you find out later at the camp, she talks to Esquier and she's like, why do you keep saying that I'm a bad swimmer or whatever? Or like, why do you act like we met? And he goes, I found you in the ocean. And you find out that Esquier was the one who saved her from killing herself in the ocean. And I was like, oh, that is so awesome. And then Lune is obviously, she's kind of the nerd who's just always wanting to study everything and learn about finding her parents was a really cool thing. Like you eventually find her the expedition her parents were on. And obviously Esquier is just a goofy mon ami.
Yeah. I love the interaction with his neighbor when you go to
Francois or whatever.
Yeah, Francois.
Arguing over rocks.
I don't even have the rock.
Oh man, it's so funny. Yeah. But then Monaco, his introduction was so funny where he's just like, we're gonna go here. Okay, bye. And he goes, but there's gonna be fighting. Good. Like they just had really funny interactions. And then obviously, yeah, we were talking about the gestuals and stuff for goofy people, but yeah, I don't have much else to add. The other question that we got was from our buddy Zach Rakaz. His question, we've already answered this, is Expedition 33 Game of the Year? And currently,
right now it is. Yeah,
currently, yes. I mean, it's only May, which is crazy that we've had so many good games this year already. But as I've said before, I think Death Stranding 2 is the only game that really has a chance, especially after seeing the new preview stuff that they've put out. I think that's the game that really has the biggest chance for me for beating it as Game of the Year. I don't think there's much else. I mean, obviously I can be surprised. I was surprised by this, but I don't think there's really, because this game, I have had this game on my mind every moment since it came out. Like, this is one of those games where I cannot stop thinking about it. And so I just don't see another game doing that except maybe Death Stranding. But Are there any other games coming out that you think might dethrone it?
Yeah, there's two more Trails games coming out this year because they're gonna actually release like day and date with Japan now. It's
Oh, nice.
the remake of Trails in the Sky, the first one, and then I don't know if this is actually gonna come out. It's sales slated for this year, but it wouldn't shock me if it got delayed. It's being localized right now. It's Trails Beyond the Horizon, which is like the finale of the Daybreak trilogy.
Oh, nice.
And Daybreak 2 already came out this year, and I did like Daybreak 2 a lot, but I enjoyed this game more than Daybreak 2. So I could see maybe those two games. I mean, we saw GTA 6 got delayed. That definitely would have probably been my game of the year. Um, but other than that, it depends. It really depends. Do we like I don't know, maybe Nintendo announces something in June that's coming out in the fall that's like really like, hey, we're getting a new 3D Mario and we're just going to announce it now, but I doubt that will happen. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't
Okay.
know. Probably. I mean, I really moving forward. I mean, maybe Ghost of Yotai, but I don't think that will be my game of the year. I think
Yeah,
I'll
I
enjoy
don't.
it a lot, but it's not going to be
Yeah,
like,
it's
oh
a.
my gosh.
Yeah, good. Ghost of Tsushima was a huge surprise to me. Like, I did not expect to love that game as much as I did. Uh, but yeah, the new one just doesn't really like. I'm gonna play it and I'm sure it'll be great, but I have no real hype for it. Like, I don't know why. I'm not hyped at all
Well,
for
it's
it.
funny
I'm
because
just
like when I
kind
went
of.
into Tsushima, I wasn't hyped at all either, and mainly because The
Yeah,
Last of
that's
Us came
true.
out right before that, and I really enjoyed my time with it. I didn't consider it for my game of the year though that year.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else could potentially. I mean, Donkey Kong is definitely not going to be my game of the year. I know that it will be fun, but it's not going to be my game
Yeah,
of
the
the
more I've
year.
watched trailers on that, it actually seems like it'll be a pretty fun game. So I'll probably play it eventually.
The only thing maybe is if Mina the Hollower somehow comes out this year, maybe. Or
Yeah.
it's like Silk Song maybe, but even then, I don't know.
I mean, Silk Song still has a 2025 date.
Yeah, it
They've
also had a
reconfirmed it,
2024
so
date and a 2023 date
yeah,
and a
exactly.
2022 date.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but yeah, so as of right now, it's my game of the year.
Nice. Yeah. Actually, I just got a message from our buddy Mr. Milk who said, "Greetings, plastics. The final decision the game throws your way is brutal. How long were you staring at the screen before you ended up deciding? And was your choice? What was your choice along with reasoning for
Well,
it?"
considering I screwed up and picked the wrong person, I meant to pick Verso and I ended up picking my L and I thought I picked Verso. Didn't take me that long.
Yeah. No, I was I was pretty quick to pick my L because I guess I was in the boat more of I. So he says, "What was your choice for picking it?" And my thing was I wanted everyone to return. Like, I knew they were technically a fake life kind of thing. Like,
Hmm.
they're not even real people, but but I wanted them to live. I wanted Gustav to be back with Sophia. Like, I wanted everyone to be happy, and even though it was at the expense of Verso's soul, I guess, but that's why I picked it. I wanted Mael to be happy because I mean,
Yeah,
she was
and you
kind of
had
right
yeah,
in the
and
sense of,
you had mentioned in the main episode this past week that she was your favorite character. So
yeah, like Mael, she is a just an amazingly well written character, and she has so much to. I mean, other than like I said, when she becomes kind of omniscient, it's a little weird, but yeah, so I was pretty quick to pick her. I didn't stare too long. I was The only reason I sat there even looking at it for longer than like 10 seconds was the fact that I was like, I'm picking the end of the game right now, aren't I? And so I was like, and in my head I thought like, oh, Miles the good ending versus the bad ending, but then after watching the Mile ending, I'm like, oh no, that wasn't a happy ending at all. Like, it was the choice that I made, but it wasn't happy. It was a very there was good and bad to it. In both endings, there was good and bad to it. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just like yeah,
yeah,
like you said, there's no happy ending, there's no good ending. It's more of a which ending did you pick, or which outcome did you see?
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, so I picked that. It didn't take me too long to choose it, but yeah, that was and then I think we had one other write in where it was we already answered it, but who was our favorite to person to play as, and like I said, mine was Lune. Um, but yeah, I don't have much else to add. I don't think. I know this game. It was again. We'll wrap it up with. This game was incredible. I did not expect to love it nearly as much as I did, and in a way, I was thinking about it. It's kind of like Hades in that sense of. I've said this before. Of
Nice little surprise hit for you.
yeah, it's a surprise hit for me. Even though Hades won like Game of the Year for I think I like IGN or something, so it wasn't like an unknown game by any means, but it was a genre that I don't really go for that often, and so this one really got me into it. And like I was telling Midnight, and I think you and a couple other people, I might try Persona just because obviously it doesn't play exactly the same, but that stylized menu was so I loved it so much that I was like, I kind of want to just play more of that. Like I'm enjoying that aspect of it. So I do want to. I'll play Persona eventually one day. I don't know if anytime soon, but I want to enjoy more games like this. And
This
so,
game's better than Persona. Let's say that right now.
is it really?
I think it
How
is.
you say?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest, but I'm
Oh,
not the biggest Persona guy. I'm not the biggest Atlas guy.
okay.
My
Well,
favorite Atlas
Astro
game.
is
My
a
favorite
big
Atlas
movie.
game is not a popular one. I like
Shin
Soul Hackers
Megami or
2 is
whatever.
my no Soul
Oh,
Hackers
Soul
2 is my
Hacker.
favorite Atlas game, and that's like everyone's like, oh, that game's terrible. I'm like, well, I liked it.
Yeah, it's okay. My favorite games are games that people don't like, so it's whatever. And but speaking of which, on our next episode, we'll be getting into some games that we love, and that is going to be a very fun episode. But I don't want to spoil it too much because well, I mean, we haven't recorded, so there's nothing to spoil. But I don't want to. I want everyone to be enjoying the topic when it comes around. But yeah, so that's all I really have to say about this game. Overall, like I said, if I had to rate it, it's a 10. I love this game. Yeah, I have very few actually, really quickly, I guess I could say the only things I didn't like about the game was it was a very small thing, but I wish that once you fought an enemy, it would let you know what its weakness was because I had to keep
Yeah,
guessing. I couldn't
that
remember what
which
everyone's
I'm
weakness
surprised
was.
they didn't do that because a lot of the games there that I can see they're taking inspiration from do that.
Yeah,
Where like once you fight someone, it's kind of like recorded, like oh here's the weakness, and it will like
yeah,
highlight it in the menu. So like super effective.
yeah. So that was one thing I wasn't huge on, and then I think that there's one other thing I was thinking of, but I can't remember it now. But there's like no fast travel system other than when you're in the level. Wasn't because like there'd be times where I'm like I need to go here, and then you have to get up on SGA and fly for like 2 minutes. You're like I don't want to fly all the way over
See, like
there.
I never fast travel, so that didn't really bother me. Like I never fast travel.
Oh, I do. Well, it was mostly when I was getting the rest of the journals. I would travel from
Yeah,
frames.
no, that makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, yeah, there's not much to complain about this game. I couldn't believe how beautiful this game was. Obviously, it's Unreal Engine 5, so it's not too surprising. But yeah, there's this game is incredible. They're I can't believe they're gonna make it a movie. They're gonna freaking ruin it. Not obviously not gonna make
Just ignore the movie, play the game.
yeah, exactly. I'm
Um,
not saying it's gonna ruin my love of
yeah.
this series, but it's the game is gonna be or the movie's gonna be terrible
The
because
only complaint I have about the game is I think there was like those like platforming sections that were like I think they were terribly done.
oh
Um,
yeah.
and I'm like, guys, you nail everything else so much. Why don't you just get rid of this platforming section and just like fine tune even more, make it even better than it already is, like the other aspects. But other than that, like that's a nitpick. It's not like it's like a huge part of the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's nothing that would ever make me be like, this game could have been perfect if not for this. Because those are
Yeah,
so small that they're not even really
yeah.
in the
That's why I'm
question.
saying it's like not like a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, overall, fantastic game. Love this game. But that's all I have to say for it. I'm sure throughout the day today I'll be like, I should have said this. I should have said this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this game and everyone should play it. And if you've listened to this and you haven't played it, why? You should have played it. But yeah, that's it for me. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
No, game's fantastic. Definitely highly suggested. I'm glad that more people are going to be are playing and enjoying some turn-based combat. That's what I like to see. Also, last thing, Gustav looks looks kind of like Mr. Matty plays.
He looks like Mr. Matty Plays and Robert Pattinson from The
Yeah, I've
Lighthouse.
heard the Robert Pattinson a lot, and I'm like,
Yeah,
and
and then
I'm
Renoir looked kind of like Pierce Brosnan. But yeah. Yeah, so that's it for us. Obviously, please tune into our regular show if you would like. Please like and subscribe us on YouTube. Follow us on any of those media, audio, podcasts, whatever apps. We'll be back. Actually, we'll be back in you're listening to this. If you're listening this Monday, we'll be back tomorrow for Last of Us discussion because we have 3 episodes left in that, and we've been going through that. Actually, those episodes are doing better than I thought they would. I honestly assumed they'd have like 10 views each because it's kind of a flooded market to talk about The Last of Us. So I'm surprised they're doing as well as they are. So thank you for everyone who tunes in. We wouldn't do this show I guess we would do it if no one was listening because no one was listening for a long. But thank you all anyway for listening to our show. But I am Steve for Sean saying goodbye, everyone.
bye. If you like this game, go play Expedition 1 through 32. You got 32 more games to play.
Yeah.